Welcome to Healing Conversations with me, Ntabise Ngwepe. We sit with Sesi Karabo for part 2 of our mind-opening, educational, and really thought-provoking discussion on living with a disability. Do you know that we all encounter persons with disabilities at some point in our lives? If it's not in the village, you know someone that you can point out to and say, that is a case that is close to my heart. Yet none of us move towards the education of ourselves and those who are close to us in terms of how to properly relate to them. And I'm starting specifically this evening on this topic, says Karabo, a false sense of humility when dealing with persons with disability. And I'll give you a simple example. I've met, and I've been guilty of this, I've met someone living with a disability, and instead of just saying, hello, my tone somewhat changes. And, I find myself sometimes kneeling, and I ask myself, could I not have just related on a normal basis? Have you experienced what I call a false sense of humility, so to speak?
Yes, a lot. And that shame, that pity. Hey, can I talk to you? Are you feeling pain if I touch you? Like, why? Sometimes you'll be minding your own business, you're busy on a wheelchair, and someone just comes, they're just pushing you without your permission. Okay, they say they're helping, but did I say I need help? Or why don't you at least ask? That is triggering as well. And it's also wrong. I should respect you as much as you should respect me. Yes.
As a person living with a disability, how would you appreciate me approaching you?
Okay, I respect you, you respect me, we good. You greet me nicely, how are you? I'm good. If you need to ask about my disability, I personally don't have a problem. I don't mind. I think it's how the approach, how you come to me, how you say it, and how you ask the question. That is a problem to me. If you say, sure, I see you on crutches, I was just wondering what happened to you. And then I'll give you the answer. But if you come to me, what happened to you? Accident. What happened? What? To me, it's like, what? Are you a doctor? Why do you want to know? Sometimes I say, I don't know. Or I say, it's private and confidential. After all, it is. What if it's something that I don't want to talk about? Or that day I'm not in the good mood to talk about? Imagine I'm in town. I meet 20 people a day asking me the same question. What is that doing to me? You ask me, the next person asking me, the whole time I'll be explaining myself. I don't even know you. You don't even know me. It's private sometimes.
Let's talk about, and I want to come back to the relationship issue. Relational issues, rather, let me say that. What's the greatest misconception that we make about persons with disabilities?
The fact that they must be felt sorry for all the time. And then they are all this pity party happening. That is very wrong. That they cannot do what you guys can do. Yes, for me, it takes me 5 times. I have to work 5 times harder for me to achieve what you can easily achieve in 1 step. For me, I'll have to take 5 steps to achieve. But we are also able to do what you can do. We also have the brains. We also have the beauty. We also have what you have. Just that our body is differently. And I always say, if only we can be given equal opportunities as you.
Yes.
All we need is equal
opportunities.
Equal. We'll be fine.
You've had the privilege of sharing the stage with renowned international speakers. Such an invitation. What does it say to you? What does it communicate? To you as a person, to say, wow, someone out there sees me.
To me, it's saying, Mama, I made it.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, Mama, I've arrived. And I say, God, is this you?
Yeah.
So for me, it's it gives me this joy. Like, wow. So they do recognize me. So I am doing a good job. To me, it's inspiring. It takes me back to that childhood when I was crying every day, that now I'm crying by the tears of joy, celebrating. That I'm saying, God, so really now I'm making a living out of the same situation they were laughing me about.
Yes.
I'm making a living out of the same situation that I wanted to kill myself.
Over, yeah.
Now I'm making a living out of the same situation that I wanted you to take away from me. I'm making a living out of the situation that they said I will amount to nothing. So for me, it's celebrating. For me, it's achieving. For me, it's celebration of good life and dreams coming true every single day. And I'm grateful for that.
It's also the celebration of God to say, you are very much able. You gave me beauty for my ashes. The Bible says he will give you joy instead of shame. The same things that were supposed to shame you, what you went through now. It's a joy.
There is this verse that I love so much in John 13, verse 7, where it says, he said, you don't know what I'm doing now,
But you will understand
later. Back then I didn't know. I didn't understand. But now I look back and like, wow, God, I see you. Now I understand what you were doing all this time.
Glory be to God. You also were married and you've got a precious little one. How has that experience been? I want us to focus particularly on the challenges that, you experienced in marriage as a person with disability. I want to also start with this question on this particular, issue. Were you married to someone with a disability as well or not?
No, he was not. He was not disabled. Most of the time, as persons with disabilities, we end up dating each other because it feels better. The next person understands my disability because they're disabled.
Oh, yes.
And which is a mistake. But then again, abled people, they're still discriminating and they still don't want to come into our world. To a point whereby I remember when I was preparing for the wedding and all that, and they even asked me, how are you going to manage in your in-laws? How are you going to wash for them? How are you going to clean for them? Of course, as the responsibility of any makoti, that as a makoti, you're expected to do this and this and this. And it was a question for me that, how are you going to do that? How are you going to take care of your husband with your disability? So it was very, very, very challenging as well. And I remember one of the ex said to me, so you think as disabled as you are, you can take my future husband.
Wow.
And simple things like getting a wedding dress that I'll be able to walk on my crutches. It was also difficult to get that. Just a simple wedding dress. It is difficult still because of the disability.
So now you get married and your husband at the time, has he fully adjusted to living with someone who has a disability, or at the time it's not really an issue?
He was fine with that, and I think he also played a part on helping me to heal as well. He also did to say, look, you're beautiful, with or without a disability. I still love you regardless, and I'm gonna make you my wife. I'm gonna make you the most beautiful girl in the world.
And when you had your baby, it came as a shock, because I heard on one of the radio interviews you did, you mentioned it as well today. How do you get pregnant?
Exactly. Sure, this guy doesn't feel pity for you to make you pregnant. How can you get pregnant when you're disabled like that? How do you even get pregnant? I'm like, oh my God. The society, the ignorance, So, and that thing that I remember someone also said, no, I think he should get a second wife to also come and be, to balance the equation. So wow, so I'm not woman enough to be the woman alone. I need an assistant.
Now, what is, motherhood like for you?
I think being a single mother itself is challenging.
You got divorced.
Yes, yes, we got divorced. So, my son, I love. Okay, my son, he understands my disability, but he always says, "Yo, mama, yeah, I can't wait to be old so that I can know how to drive and that I can drive you around because I see that you're really, really struggling, mom." So the things that I cannot do, he can do, and I think he also helps me in healing to say, wow, so I'm a good mother and all that. Yes, even though there are those challenges, and I love him to bed. Oh my God, I love him to bed. I love him to bed. Yeah.
Yes, let's speak on the challenges also that have, in a way set you back, because you didn't only deal with the disability. You also are facing some major diagnoses that one would have thought they would dampen your spirits, but you just face on life vigorously, marching on every day. Can you share that with us if you don't mind?
So with me, when you finally made it, everything is smoothly, and then you hit rock bottom again. Then I was diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like, but God, wait. I think we spoke about this.
Yeah.
That we agreed that we're not going to have anything again. He said, no, this is also my will. For me, I thought I was going to die when the doctor told me that you are diagnosed with cancer. And what did I do again? I then went back to trying to commit suicide again. Because now I'm thinking the journey of me surviving the disability, now I have to survive this again. And that time it was late. It was late when they discovered it. I remember my gynecologist then said, you choose either. He didn't even say me. He said, either your son. Okay, my son's name is Atang. He said, you choose either Atang or you die. I'm like, yo, Atang. So, and again, remember as black people, we used to say cancer is for
white disease,
people. Yeah. Yes. So for me, I was like, what? Wait, did you say cancer? And now here I am Googling because I had no clue about cancer and whatnot. Okay, I knew there was cancer, but I was like, I'm not concerned. Now I have to do my research. Now I have to start writing my will because I really thought I was going to die. But it was very, very difficult for me again. I'm like, but God, we agreed. Now you're taking me back again.
Yeah.
What's happening? And he still said, this is still my will. It was hard for me as well. And then when I was like, I am fine, came back again. This year, you get diagnosed again with another cancer. I'm like, but God, I've learned my lesson if that was the lesson you wanted me to learn. I don't want to go through that all again.
Yeah.
And it's painful when now you see people dying every day because of the same thing. And he said, did I not carry you through when all these people that you see around, when they're dying, but you survived the first one, and I know you'll still survive the second one. Yeah.
And, you battle with suicide as a result of the setback. With your recent diagnosis now, what impact did it have? Did it take you back to your suicidal thoughts? And if not, how do you now begin to process and deal with the whole thing?
This one, it makes it worse because they say you cannot survive cancer twice.
I survived cancer 3 times. I know a God who heals.
Yes. And again, what they do, they plant this fear in you to say, you cannot have all these operations in your body, just give up and die and all that. And you don't want that. And remembering how difficult it was back then, and now I'm like, God, but I think now I'm more weak. I'm more weak because a lot of things are just coming all at once and I cannot take it. I cannot take it. I don't want to go through that again. Yes.
What is keeping you now solid in terms of holding on to? Because this is a very recent diagnosis for you.
I remember this other time I had a conversation with God and he said to me, You know how COVID came
Mm.
and you had COVID, you didn't die? You survived. There's a reason why I'm keeping you. You know why you had the first cancer and you survived? There's a reason why I'm keeping you. And even now, I'm going to keep you. And it goes back to that scripture that says, you might not know what I'm
John
doing.
13, yeah.
But you will understand later.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at that, God being my pillar of strength, my family being my pillar of strength, my son being there for me, but my mother praying for me each and every single day, my mother being there for me in good times and in bad times. When now I'm giving up and she's still there holding me my hand, holding my hands to say, you're gonna survive this and you'll make it.
But you know also what God says? He says, in your weaknesses.
I'm strong.
Yes.
I'll make you strong as
Yes.
well. I'll strengthen you.
Yes. So when the chips are down for you, that is when the strength of God shows up in your life. I believe that it's rare that when our strength is displayed to the world, it doesn't really create room for God to enter. So it's in times like this that we realize, I need that hand of mercy to lift me. I need that hand of His grace to just keep carrying me. And I somewhat concur with you fully that the God who sustained you then in your disability, very sudden, in your diagnosis, is the same God who will carry you now. I'm testimony to that.
Yeah. And when He said, I'll never leave you, now will I forsake
Nor will I forsake you.
you. Then you see that God, I cannot make it without you.
You have
I
kept
cannot survive this
every
one.
promise.
I need you today as much as I needed you yesterday.
God is faithful. It's in His nature.
And here you are, you're looking at someone who never had entered their foot into the hospital. They have never. But when you enter the hospital, all the nurses know your name. All the nurses and the doctors, they call you by name because you are a regular.
Yeah.
Because they're familiar. And someone has never entered. And the same bed that you'll be in all the time, someone once died in the same bed that you're sleeping at. But you survived.
You survived.
The same medication that the doctors are giving to you, they gave someone the same medication.
Couldn't help them.
And the body couldn't accept it. The body rejected that medication. And the person ended up dying. But here you are. They're giving you the medication again and then again. And your body is responding to that. Is that not God's grace?
Grace. God's faithfulness.
When all these people with millions of monies into their accounts, billionaires and all that, they go there and the medication rejects their body. They're very expensive medication.
Yeah.
And here you are just giving in an average medication and you survive.
It's God at
Can
work.
only be God.
It
Can only be God.
When you speak of your journey to this point and you reflect, as you correctly say, there is someone who's battling right now. Someone who has lost a loved one and not in death, but they are alive, but they see death only when they look at them because of a disability. What do you say to someone who has reduced the life of somebody else because of a disability? Someone watching you at home right now.
I can say to them that disability can happen to anyone at any time. At any time, you might be walking there, get an accident. Or you wake up in the morning, or you don't even wake up. When you try to turn, your whole half body is hit by a stroke. It can happen to anyone at any time. You must always remember that. So the next time you laugh at someone or you discriminate someone, remember,
It could be you.
It could be you. You might have your share on that. So why, when someone is already having all these challenges upon them and they're struggling, and you now want to take them down again? Why? They're struggling. Waking up with a disability every day itself is a challenge. You have to speak to yourself to say, I'm still alive. I'm going to make it. Every single day you have to preach to yourself. That person is already battling with themselves. Now you come again. I advise them to say, it can happen to you tomorrow. So be kind and be nice and be sweet to others, because already they're fighting a battle that you know nothing about.
What about the person who has given up because of a disability? What can they take away from you today, from your testimony, from your journey, from all these accomplishments that God has enabled you to, experience successful chain of businesses that you run today, at Dang Construction, at Dang Safari Tours, and you've risen up beyond your disability to build such a legacy of success, not only materially, not only in terms of comfort, but also in terms of your spirit. Speaking to you, I can sense that you are very comfortable and peaceful in terms of where you are with your life now. But someone needs to take away something from you because they are not necessarily where you are today.
I had a great opportunity of sharing stages with international people, and one of them, it was with Nick without hands and without
feet.
legs. Yeah, Nick is making it without hands, without legs. If he can make it, you too can also make it. Disability is not the end of the world. Even if you have just been diagnosed now with a disability of some sorts, just know that you can still survive this. You will make it. It's gonna be difficult. Get counseling. I'm here if you need to talk or if you need me to guide through. I am here. But the most important thing is fight the battle in your mind. The moment you can conquer that mind battle, that inside of you when you're with yourself alone, if you can win that battle inside of you, even if million people can come and tell you this and this, but if you have won in your mind, if you have won with your thoughts, no one can ever do you anything. The enemy outside will never do you harm. If you made peace inside, you have fought with your demons in your brain, in your mind, you're stable. If you can win that, the rest of the things are easy. This flesh can understand. This flesh will adjust. But start here. Start here. If you need to go for counseling, go for counseling. If you need to talk, or as long as you can fight the battle mind first, you have won. You have won. That's the simple. And remember, you can only win this battle if you are with one person. God. You cannot win this battle without him. You cannot, wherever you go. So my advice to someone who just got disabled now, it's possible. You can survive. You'll make it. And make sure that you win the battle mind. Then you're done.
There you have it. Disability does not define anybody. Disability can happen to the best of us. Your high days does not entitle you to look down upon the person who has a physical impairment that is visible to the naked eye. If anything, I want us to be mindful of the ignorance that we carry around in our daily conduct, in our utterances, and in how we educate others about disability. We can take out so much into the world just by how we relate to those around us, the kindness that we show them, the appreciation that we show them, regardless of the physical conditions that they face. What is meant for your harm, He can use for your good. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, should define your life. Don't define your life by a season that you face. Define your life by what God has purposed for you. Are you living your purpose? Are you looking up to Him in your journey? You can live your purpose even with a disability. Condition your mind to that. Understand that. Know that. And you would have lived a life of a lasting legacy to this generation. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord keep you. And may He shine His face upon you. May God open up your eyes to what is happening around you and in your community, so that you become the beacon of hope and change that you want to see. God bless you. Let's meet again next week.
Get yourself a copy of our latest books, The Mending of a Broken Vessel and Maintaining Your Joy, a journal for daily positive living. Visit a bookstore near you.